So that is one of the reasons why I'm a bit more shook. Is one of my buddies who is a doctor, and this whole time he's been like, "This is like, I think people are reacting. This is super chill, blah blah." And then yesterday he texted the group and he's like, "Well, y'all, actually I spent some time reading a lot of stuff that's coming out of Italy, and I get why we have to take this thing so seriously now, because it is all about flattening the curve, trying not to overwhelm the healthcare system. Nobody wants a situation where the most at-risk individuals, think like your mom or dad, is denied a hospital bed because all the hospital beds are full, right? And so, yes, these measures are extreme.
Well, and if you think about it, I saw this too. Someone was reporting, people are going to go to the emergency room for this kind of thing. They're not going to stop treating other reasons that people come to the emergency room.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is all on top of the normal demand, right? That's what you have to remember, too. It's not like just because this is the main story, people still have cancer. People still get in car accidents.
Still get heart attacks.
All of this still happens around this. So it's a tenuous spot, man. And when you point to examples like Korea and China as to how they, they are turning, they're kind of rounding the corner a bit, it seems like, and that's good. But if you think this is extreme, look at the measures that they had to take, right? I mean, and look at the measures that Italy is having to take. And if you can prevent or at least alleviate the process of getting to that point, then everybody should do their best to do so. And that's why I think these actions are prudent, and I think they're going to hurt in the short term, but I think long term, hopefully, like I said, it helps to alleviate some of the demand that is coming. I mean, you read some things in like some of the estimations, and look, and I have some positive news in here as well, as far as vaccines that are being worked on and developed, and we can get to those, because I do have a lot of hope that in the age of, with the technology that we have, and in the age of globalization and worldwide communication, and the fact that you have the smartest people all around the world all working together to find a cure, I do believe that process will be hyper accelerated, and I have a lot of hope there. But if you look at some of the more negative numbers, I mean, I'm reading from two independent sources yesterday, one from major news site, one from there was like the President Obama's Medicare top advisor, and then there was like another just private email from a doctor that they're talking about, like, eventually by the end of this, you could have 40 to 70% of the U.S. infected, and that even if that's a 1% death rate, you could be looking at like something like 1 million deaths, and that seems implausible. And I hope that's incredibly wrong, and I hope that does not come to pass. But that seems like that is the information that is being given to our leaders, right? I keep going back to President Trump's address the other day, where as much as everybody wants to sit here and say it's all media driven, it's all fake news, it's all this or that, he looked pretty serious the other day when he was talking about this, and the measures that the now federal government has taken are pretty serious, and who has better access to predictive models and to numbers and to experts than does the White House. And so that's my point. And so if you want to keep like saying it is what it is, or it's media driven, or it's this or that, that's your prerogative. I just think you're way off base here. And yeah, it sucks. All sports got canceled. I've never seen anything like it before. It's literally unprecedented, I think, for all of us. But it is what it is. And we just got to kind of navigate these times together. And it's crazy because normally times like these, sports are the relief, right?
Really are.
I mean, like it's the getaway. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's it's like there are times of war or anything. Any times of adversity, sports are how you kind of let go and you meet new people, and it brings everybody together. And now even that is gone, and that it sucks. It sucks for everybody.
Specifically at this time of the year, when you think about all the sports that are happening, I mean, you can find your outlet in whatever you're looking for. You want spring football? You got spring football. You got NBA basketball? You got NBA basketball. You like college basketball? You got college basketball. The PGA Tour is really kind of starting to catch its feet. I mean, the Players' Championship was suspended and called off this week, and the Masters is coming up in a few weeks. F1 called its Australian Grand Prix off, which is kind of the big opening to the season.
NASCAR just started. They're done. The MLB's pushed back. The NHL is also hurtling towards the playoffs. They're done. Yeah, it's literally everything.
So when I pulled these, and I don't know, I mean, you said NASCAR's off. The last time I pulled it said NASCAR's next 2 weekends are on.
Oh, actually, you're right. I'm wrong. NASCAR is doing fanless races as of now, which we'll see. Right. We'll see over the next week how that develops.
Well, and somebody else in the huddle said that WWE is canceled, but last time I looked, they are planning to move forward with WrestleMania. So if you're super into WrestleMania,
Wait, they did cancel WrestleMania?
Last time I saw, it is not canceled
I thought they were moving it back.
to April 4th. It says they are planning to move forward with WrestleMania in Tampa on April 4th. That's the last I pulled, but that could, things are changing so quickly.
Yeah,
it's hard to keep up with.
That's pretty close. April 4th is. I mean, and that's the thing. I guess you don't really know how long this could be before this is kind of figured out. There's some.
That's why. That's
and
why
the
I thought it
Olympics.
was,
Look, people, they still haven't canceled the Olympics.
That's coming though.
Mm-hmm.
No way the Olympics.
I can't
goes
believe
forward.
they were the first real major sporting event to start talking about canceling it,
Right.
and they still haven't.
Yeah, I think that the Olympics is inevitable. That's not going to happen. I thought it was a little premature to cancel the College World Series. I thought that was something that you could maybe come back and table and talk about. I mean, when you're talking about really just kind of throwing the entire spring schedule of sports off, I mean, I understand.
Isn't that like an infrastructure thing, though? Because, like, there's so many moving parts and so many different schools and different policies, right? Like,
but how many moving parts have you started now with the suspension of sports and the discussion of what you do with upperclassmen, guys that have graduated, guys that are seniors, guys that you've taken seasons away from? I mean, it's one thing to look at the basketball model where more than three quarters of the majority of everybody's season was done, right? I mean, it was near the end for everybody. But for a baseball season, I mean, you start conference play this weekend. What do you do with a senior? What do you do with a guy like, give me a
well,
senior?
Like a Daniel
senior.
Cabrera, this is probably was going to be his last season here, right? And that's not a great problem either, right? And there's plenty of problems you're going to have to solve. But to me, figuring out an eligibility issue like that is probably an easier solution than, okay, what does it look like if we do, let's say in like 2 or 3 months we come back, like, okay, it's time for the College World Series. Well, what happens to the schools that haven't been in school for months and haven't been practicing, but this school has been practicing? Maybe this school stayed in, maybe this school didn't. And then who makes the tournament, right? Does everybody make it? You have a massive tournament. That'd be kind of tight. But there's so many moving parts that I feel like it's almost a domino effect where, unfortunately, even though it's so far off, I don't know how you can suspend the entire season and then just say, okay, let's play the College World Series. So, no, I don't think it's just optics, as Heath Hamilton is trying to say in the huddle. Like, you got to think about how interconnected everything is.